Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experiences, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Chris Zart, general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it.
Hey.
Hey, man, we are back. It's we've taken a few weeks break. It's just been kind of crazy and lots of stuff going on, but we're excited and have some updates. So let's talk about your weekend. You had 2 weddings?
Yes, 2 weddings, long weekend. I was pretty far away, kind of near, Rockford, Illinois on Friday.
Ooh.
And I think I hit some of the worst traffic I've ever hit in my entire life. I think normally I'd probably have a travel fee situation, but I think when I did the sales call, I was like, oh, it's like an hour 20 away. It took us 2 hours and 45 minutes to get there.
Man.
But an hour 20 on the way back. So it's just traffic killed us. But as soon as we got there, they had 3 coordinators, planners. They took care of us the whole night. It was just a really easy, smooth night. Everything was kind of connected. They had ceremony in one room. It was in this hotel, really nice hotel. Ceremonies in one room. They open a door. Everyone moves to the next room, cocktail hour. Everyone moves to the next room, reception. It was so easy to just transition. And just a solid night. Really, really sweet couple. That was a lot of fun. And then Saturday, I was at White Oak in Michigan City, so a little closer to home. That was a awesome wedding. I as soon as I opened dance floor, it just packed, and I could not get them to leave. I felt bad. We set the photo booth outside. No one even wanted to go outside. And This is a venue that people love going outside because it's right there. They get some fires going. They're making pizza outside. They have these pizza ovens. As soon as the sun goes down, it drops down, 15, 20 degrees. So no one wanted to leave. It just was going the whole night. Super awesome. Best man in the middle of the wedding, his mom came up to me and was like, can you make this announcement? He got drafted to the Denver Nuggets, got drafted into the NBA.
Whoa.
Which, when I saw him, I'm like, this guy looks he was really tall, 7 feet, close to that. I'm like, you probably play basketball, at least you should. And then, just got drafted. So
good for him, man. How cool is that?
I was talking to my dad, and it was draft day. Some guys are there, they're kind of waiting. He was at this wedding. Wow. So he was on the dance floor, and it was just yeah. And then we were back into it again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really cool. But super fun weekend.
Heck yeah, dude. I love that. So the weekend prior, because we kind of skipped a week podcasting, I was at Venuti's, which is this Italian restaurant banquet hall in Addison, Illinois. And it is absolutely gorgeous, stunning. The food is incredible. Everything was just so delicious. They had a ceremony in one room, cocktail hour, and then they had this other back room for photo booth. This beautiful flower wall, and then you kind of work your way into the dance hall. Speeches were solid. Everybody was really nice. Full floor all night. Just a great couple.
Right.
Worst part was reloading the car at the end of the night because it was pouring down rain.
Oh.
And there was a rentals company for they had a big U-Haul for their chairs, and they had blocked us in. And so I was like, oh, you guys got to move. We got to get in here too,
Right.
So everything was fine, and there was a guy right there who moved. It took 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But just late night. I didn't get home till 2 a.m.
Wow.
Exhausting, but it was a fun one. And then I was supposed to be off. I was not supposed to have any weddings this weekend. By design, I was this year, I was I'm going to try to do less weddings. Chris booked herself first. And so I have this weekend off coming up for 4th of July and the weekend prior to 4th of July off. I'm just going to chill with the kids and relax. And that is not what happened. On Friday this last week, I got a text from a local friend, Eric Yeager. He's been on the podcast, MB Events. He's like, my assistant called off. I need help. We're doing love story. It's got a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, and I really could use someone's help on the board, And I was like, let me check with my staff. I checked with my staff. Everybody was booked or busy or already working a wedding for me,
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm your guy. Ashley's like, that's fine, I guess. As long as you don't work Saturday. And I was like, not a problem. I was like, Eric needs me. I want to be there for him. He'd do the same thing for me,
Right.
And it's going to be a fun wedding, and I'll learn a lot, and it's going to be good. And that's what it was absolutely outstanding. Really liked Eric's new setup, and the way he EQs his speakers was phenomenal. So I was like, oh, what's your secret? So then I was like, I'm going to try that next time I DJ. So, it's Saturday. I'm like, I sleep in, I get up, I order some Susie's Cafe. I'm on my way to Susie's, and I see a little notification on Facebook. I got tagged in some post. I was like, oh, I'll just check it, wedding vendor stuff, just see what's going on. And it's Melissa Marshall, former makeup artist, and she used to run the Northwest Indian Vendors Group, and she tagged me in a post because there was a beauty person who was like, hey, this couple for today, their DJ died last night. And they don't have anybody, they have no speakers, no one to cover it. Like, they need a DJ. And so she's like, anyone available? Because Melissa knows I have a team. So I'm like, no one's available, but I'm available. So I just said, I'm available. And I remember screenshotting you like, hey, because you carried the business line. So it's like, someone might call. If that's fine, just let me know. You know? I expected to not hear anything because there was like 8 or 9 other DJs like, oh, I could do it. I'm available. And, they really wanted it, the gig. But then it turns out that one of the people in the bridal party of this wedding knows Joe Christian. And so they reached out to Joe, and Joe was like, I'm booked. But so Joe texted me personally, and I was like, yeah. So the guy called me, talked to the groom, and I was like, yeah, like our DJ, like he took his own life last night. And like his wife called us this morning saying that like, I'm really sorry, but we're not going to have a DJ. Which is like,
how could you even do that phone call? I don't even know.
Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine what she's going through. But to have the presence of mind to think of someone else in that moment of pain and trauma is incredible. But so yeah, when Joe reached out, I was like, absolutely, I'd love to do it. I'll be there. And then I talked to the groom, and he just signed, booked, paid. And, I went, and I got there a little early. Luckily, they had Vibo too. So he just kind of took a screenshot, and we went through the day. I downloaded, organized all the music, got all set up, and then proceeded to do one of the best weddings I've ever done in my life.
That's what and you called me at the end of your wedding just to check in. You knew I was on my way home.
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked. And was it the whole day? Did you do ceremony and reception?
Yes, the ceremony, reception, and I threw in uplights for free, and I'm really glad because it really looked cool. We were at circa 1856.
Right.
Beautiful outdoor ceremony, although it was hot, but everything was flawless there. And then right into cocktail, intros, dinner, dancing, the usual stuff. Yeah. But the couple was super sweet. I found out they both went to Purdue. They're big Purdue grads. And they're just really fun, neat people. And it was just a epic dance floor. There was that kind of energy in the air I've talked about a couple times on podcasts. Sometimes like when things go wrong, or like we had one during COVID that got canceled and rescheduled, and then there was like rain. And it's like sometimes when the wedding crowd kind of knows about it and they're at the event, like everyone kind of pulls together because they want it to be. And so everyone that was kind of looming over. Yeah. And I got there, everybody was so nice. They like hugged me, thanked me. They had people at the end of the night going, yeah, DJ, like cheering for me. Right. Like I got tipped. I mean, it was just an awesome, epic floor. And it was just really good interaction with the crowd, singing, dancing. I got to play Pink Pony Club, which was epic. I don't know. There's one of these things where it really felt like I was in the right place at the right time to like, we need help. And I'm like, I'm available, and I left to do it. And it was the easiest thing ever that I was able to just jump in and do it. And everyone was so nice. And I'm so glad that it worked out. I feel so terrible for that this thing happened, but it was a crazy, cool, fun wedding.
It's really insane because to us, obviously we love this. This is really important to us, but like, this is our job. It's just a job. Yeah. Everyone has a job. You have to. And the day is so important, but like, yeah, something that crazy happening, I don't even know how you handle that, but also they plan this wedding, it's like there's all these things in motion. They, everything was just like thrown upside down immediately. Like, what do you do in that situation? So yeah, you kind of like coming in to save the day. Yeah. How could people not like,
they immediately, everyone was so nice and fun. Right. And so like, thanks for coming. And I was like, oh, absolutely. Even the venue was really sweet about it. Like everybody was really nice. And I was like, of course. Yeah. Like that was all I could say was I'm thrilled to help. And I'm really sorry that this happened. And it was so cool. It was just that energy was just so infectious, and just everybody was dancing and singing and having a good time, and just epic night, man. And it got me thinking like about emergencies, and like, do you have any stories about emergencies you've experienced at weddings, or and like, what did you do, or what couldn't you do, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So this was one of the things that when I started, it's really crazy. We always talk about like what our setups used to be like and what they are now. Everything's gotten so much easier. And it just comes to our equipment, how heavy it is, all this stuff. We used to have the most heavy gas powered generator
Yeah.
if we didn't have power. And then we switched over right when you started the company, like a year in, you're like, hey, I just got these battery powered generators. They're super light, no gas. You could even like use them inside or whatever. So we had just gotten those. And then I was doing a wedding at Sand Creek, and some drunk driver, whatever, hit a pole. Do you remember this at all?
I do remember this.
Hit a pole, knocked out power to like all of Chesterton and the venue. And like, we were just, luckily we got through like everything. We had just finished like first dance, parent dances. We were about to open dance floor. They're like, hey, can we have some time to talk to people before we open? I'm like, no problem. So I was waiting, boo, all the power goes out. So then immediately I'm like, I text someone to go get a generator. They're like bringing it. I think it was like a solid half hour. And I was like, I had someone on their way. I think it was Ben or something.
Yeah.
On their way with the generator. I was like, no worries. I'm like, I know we lost power. I'm going to plug in. We can just get going. As soon as like he got there with the generator, power came back. It was fine. But we were ready to go.
Yes,
like I was
just
like,
in case,
because she was, I mean, their thought immediately was like, because NIPSCO called, the venue was calling NIPSCO. They're like, it could be hours.
Yeah.
It might not even be tonight
Sure.
that we get power back. So immediately they're like, no dance floor. Our wedding's ruined. Like that was it. And I'm like, no. I'm like, we're going to make it happen. I'm like, you're going to have to wait 20 to 30 minutes,
Yeah.
but we are going to have music happen. I'm bringing a generator. It's battery powered, no gas in the building. Like we're solid, ready to go. That was probably one of the worst, like ended up being fine.
Yeah.
And then we did the rest of the night. It was great. But yeah, that was probably one of the worst ones I can think of. I'll keep thinking on it. But yeah, do you have any
I
others?
had a power outage, ironically, at Sand Creek as well. It was a terrible storm, and I think lightning struck. They have a backup generator, the venue does.
Right.
I think lightning struck it, or it wasn't working. And so same thing, we had to go, somebody got a gas-powered generator that we plugged into, and that DJ'd. It was just really hot.
Yeah.
But we made the best of it. We just threw as best party as we could all night. You know, obviously during COVID, a lot of weddings got canceled or called off or postponed because of a pandemic, you know.
Right.
And so there was a lot of scenarios where we don't know what's going to happen and with the rules changing. And so there was a lot of flux there. And that was just a lot of flexibility and being willing to.
I feel like I blurred that out a little bit.
Yeah, that was
I
a
do
pretty
remember
big
now.
emergency that kind of occurred.
I
yeah.
had a wedding that canceled the night before the wedding. That was only one that most
Yeah.
of them were like, because we did have a few where like someone in the bridal party got COVID.
Yeah.
It got canceled like a week or two out. I can't even imagine that. But one was the night before. I don't know if you remember that one, but it was like I was like ready to go, like playlist. I had the phone call weeks before, like we were
Yeah.
ready to go. It was that night, and they texted, and it was like the entire bridal party got COVID. Gave it to the bride and groom.
Oh my
They're like, we got to
gosh.
call it the whole
I
wedding.
do remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we gave a refund for that one.
Yeah, I think so.
It was just because they tried to reschedule.
It was
and
like
it
an
just didn't work
all-police
out.
wedding, I
It
think.
was something weird. Yeah,
yeah.
They were really nice about it, but
they were all working, and a lot of them were police. So I
Yeah.
think that like we were all, most of us were like, if you could, you weren't working, but they were
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I'm sure
Essential,
That's how it happened. Yeah, kind of forgot about those.
wild. Yeah.
What other emergencies?
Definitely have had one. Yeah, at the pavilion here in town where it was a crazy storm, power went out, and the wind took my laptop, shattered it.
Yes.
So then I had to just DJ from my phone all night.
Yep.
Luckily, I had a
Oh.
battery-powered speaker ready to go that I was able to plug a mic into and Bluetooth in for phone. And then power did come back on during dancing.
Wow.
And I just plugged my phone into the bigger speaker.
Yeah.
And then DJ'd off that. Again, same thing. Like the crowd just was like, we want to have fun, and we just did our best with it.
And people know in those, it's, people are not forgiving the scenario of like a mic dropping,
Yeah.
and they're like, it's your fault. It's like, well, it's wireless technology's fault. That's not perfect. But
Yeah.
something like that, people they just feel bad. Like, it's
feel
like, what are
bad.
you going to do? Out of
had-
your control.
Obviously, I had one a few years ago where it was supposed to be a Friday wedding, but on Sunday the venue burned down.
This was the allure.
Yes,
Yeah, this is where I got married.
There was an electrical fire that caused,
I didn't know that we lost a wedding because of that fire.
we didn't lose it. They
But-
just moved it to the Laporte.
Oh, okay.
But the other weddings, because of that, it was a nightmare for their
I think I
staff
worked
to
with you
have to.
actually on that day.
It could be, yeah.
That's coming back to me now.
Yeah, but that was a wild one because they had to move, venues at the last second. Luckily, they had that available, but not everyone had that. Where they had
Right.
some people had to move to another actual.
I think we
total
went to like the
different venue.
market for a few of them. I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah.
and then there was some in Illinois, and there was a few that we had to work with. But I felt so bad for their staff because it was I remember sending them like a care package because it was just like insane. Like your whole wedding season is
Yeah.
like gone, and even next year probably is gone.
Right.
And you have to like find a place for these couples to go, and what are we going to do?
I mean, it
And
was 4 years about, right?
Yeah.
You think?
2019 is when the fire happened,
Wow.
I think. So it
And I
was
got married in 23, so, or 22, I don't know. 22?
22, I believe.
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes.
Something that happened to me personally before was the company we were working for. Sorry, if you make a True Detective reference, you just
Yeah.
that's all you need. I set up our old Monogram, and we had a bad stand for it, and this was the company we used to work for, and like fell on my head.
Oh, that's right.
Gave me a concussion. I had to leave the wedding and have someone else fill in, but that was I got hit hard. Like it was like a 70-80 all metal like light.
Yeah.
Like I was under it and fell right on top of my head. Yeah. That was like the only injury I think I've ever sustained from
Now
this
I
job.
can't do math, and it's fine because I'm a DJ.
That's fine.
It's not a lot of math.
I'm just hit and play anyways. It's no biggie.
Now I was going to school for quantum mechanics, and
Yeah, I was gonna be.
Now I am a mechanic.
Computer
and,
science.
Computer science.
I had to drop the quantum. Now I'm just mechanics. Yeah.
Just easier that way.
Yeah.
The whole part of my brain that understood the quantum is gone,
It's gone.
shattered. No, have you ever been injured, sick, violently ill? I mean, I've definitely been violently ill. I was raised in a family where you're going to be violently ill and still go to school.
Right.
Like that kind of toxic work
And
culture.
then you got all the other kids sick probably.
Yes. Yeah. I've vomited at school many times.
You're puking in the middle.
I'm
of
like,
class.
Mom, I'm
Yeah.
sick. She's like, you feel fine to me. Go to school. And
You
then,
feel fine.
and then more than once, the nurse called her, and then I had to talk to her and like beg her to come get me because
Hey, your child's basically dying right
he's
now.
vomiting at school. The rules have changed on that big time. Like now, schools force you to come get your kid and
Well,
stuff.
and luckily, like my parents are all healthcare,
Sure.
and my dad was always just like, "Please stay home. Don't get other people sick." Like it was just like, "Nah, don't do it." But I still get that. Yeah, I think there was a few days where I was like, "Really though, I should stay," and it's
Yeah.
like, "Go." I think part of that is like now I have to deal with you all day. I was supposed to work.
Yeah, tough it out.
No, I've never been like violently sick. I've definitely been sick. I've
Mm-hmm.
had like bad colds. And I mean, even that's annoying enough when you have to be like energetic on the mic and
Oh
like
my
my
gosh.
throat's hurting. I don't think so. I mean, I remember you being really sick. Like I think it
Just
might
before
have been
COVID.
COVID. Honestly,
I think it might have been too, but I was
But, I mean, you were like, it was at least like the flu.
It was
really
terrible.
bad. Like you,
I vomited and went to the bathroom many times that night
I just
during the
remember
wedding.
during dinner, you just looked like you wanted to collapse. Like
Yeah.
only time I've called off a wedding.
Oh, that's right.
Was when my place burned down.
Yes, fire.
Yeah.
Yes, your place burned. Yes,
That was like right. I mean, I was like 19.
Yes.
So, I mean, we were only working together for 2 years. And it was, I mean, I had a wedding the next day. And
I remember
yeah,
you were
my-
absolutely devastated and you didn't know what to do.
you were the first person I called.
Yeah.
Because I just, my brain was like, oh, I have to work tomorrow. I'm like, I have to figure out everything out right now. Like, I can't
I've
go
just
to
lost
work.
everything I own in a
Yeah.
fire. Yeah, and I don't even know where I'm staying tonight. Like, just like
I felt bad. Like, I didn't
yeah, no,
wanna
I
have
know
to
you
call.
could.
Yeah.
You were like,
I didn't want to have, I didn't want to do that, but I mean, I called you. I was like crying on the phone.
Yeah.
Like that was just, and I like was holding everything together. And as
Yeah.
soon as I got on the phone with you, it just all came out like,
yeah.
oh my God.
I remember I felt so bad for you, but I remember we figured that out because I
Yeah.
called the bride immediately when I got the phone. Well, I called someone else to who's going to cover the DJing part. I wasn't able to, but I was able to go to the rehearsal. So I went to, I drove out to. It was at like.
Oh, that's what it was. The next day I was going to the rehearsal, and then the next day after that was the wedding. So
It was a rehearsal on a Friday, and then the
believe.
wedding was a Saturday. But I remember I went out to the rehearsal, did the rehearsal,
Right.
and then met with him, and then just prepped everything I possibly could for that DJ. And I think he did an okay job. But like the idea was that like, we had to cover, and it was basically somebody who was in training who wasn't ready to be a lead. I think,
Yeah.
just did the best he could. I think he messed up some intros and did some not fun things, but it was they still had a wedding. They still had dancing. They still got
Yeah.
all their songs played, that kind of. We just made the best of it.
Right. But generally, that was like a life or death kind of like pretty up there.
Definitely an emergency. I would say the couple understood. Like
Yes.
they were upset too because it happened.
Yes.
But it ended up fine. Like they still got married. They still got DJ service.
Right.
We did the best we could under the circumstance.
But it's probably the worst thing that's happened that I really was like that affected like my job. But any other time, it's like, got to be there.
Anybody who works this industry, yeah, they have that attitude. It's like, if you're doing this long enough, you're like, we have to be there. We have to have a backup or have somebody. And so when you hear these things happen, you want to do everything you can to help people in that scenario because they know that there's a lot riding on this day. That's the whole thing about this industry. You get one day,
When people that are in the mindset of like, some other jobs, it would make sense of like, and it would be considered like toxic work culture to keep working. But it's like that day is so important to somebody else, and the amount of planning and the fact that you only get a chance, you can't just reschedule.
No.
Like I can feel bad and crappy for one day of my life and then recover the next day. You know what I mean? Like I'll be fine. It's not going to be great, but like I'll get through it. I'm not going to like throw it away just because I'm feeling a little crappy.
Thousands of dollars are spent, thousands of man hours are spent planning it all.
Right.
And yeah, to just have somebody like, I got a little bit of a sniffle and I'm not coming in. I can't make it today. I'm like, that's something I'll fire somebody for if they call off at the last second for not a good reason.
Right.
Especially if they no show. If they just don't show.
Well, that'd be ridiculous. I can't even.
I mean, I've had it. We've had it. I had to fire someone because they didn't show. But I don't appreciate when people call off last second. I mean, they have to be. It's got to be something serious.
Yeah.
To me, or something serious has happened to someone you love. You know, something like go be with them. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. It's just one of those things that like. I always jump at the chance if I can to help people because that's what I'd want someone to do for me. If something happened to me, I would want someone to fill in for my weddings or fill in for my team. And I've had people, DJs who used to work for me years ago, come out of the woodwork and cover for me at the last second. I've had DJs where I'm like, I can just, I know you don't live here anymore. Can you come back to the area just for this wedding? And absolutely.
I have some clients talk to me thinking that all of us DJs are like in competition with each other. And that couldn't be like more far from the case. Yeah. Like we have so many people that, we are competing, finger quotes, with the same couples, but like they would gladly help us out. We would help them out. And I really love that part of the industry, that like knowing that other people have our back outside of our own company.
I think there's maybe younger, newer people that could have that kind of attitude, or maybe some old fogies who are whatever, just stuck in their ways. Right. But I think most people in this industry, like we look out for each other, we care about each other, and we understand, we have empathy. Like we understand, like we have to cover this wedding as best we can.
Yeah.
And occasionally that happens. I've had ones where the DJ got arrested or got in an accident or, crazy things. Generally that's what's happened. Something crazy has happened. It's not in the normal stages of planning, but I love to have a plan and have a team and have people and I definitely love to be that guy to show up and help people. That's the best part is like their DJ wasn't able to be there, but I'm like, I've done this I've been training for years. And like, it's almost like that thing where like someone on the plane passes out. Isn't there a doctor?
Yeah.
It's that kind of a moment.
My moment has come.
Yes, yeah. You get to, or like, does anybody know how to swim?
And when you were,
I'm a lifeguard. Let's do this.
We met here because I was coming to pick up some equipment. You were like loading up because I mean, we talked that morning, but I didn't know you were doing it. And then I got there and you're like, I'm doing it. Here we go. And then I remember you were kind of like, oh, I don't know what I'm going into. Yeah. But I mean, my thought, I was like,
I had no music prepped. I'm just going to go to the venue and figure it out.
Even with all of that, I was like, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like you'll be totally fine. Even if you make a mistake too, no one can really say anything. Like, you know what I mean?
And then everything was flawless and everybody was nice and it was epic. It was an epic part. It turned from like that morning, like they didn't know if they were going to have a wedding to like an epic party.
Right.
Where everybody had a good time. It was so fun.
I said,
people cheered for me. Like they never cheer for me. It felt so good.
It's a good feeling to be recognized in this job.
Yeah. But does anyone know the cha-cha slide? Yes, I can help. One hop this time. Right foot.
On the mic, told my wedding that it was one of the best weddings I've done. I like had to let them know. I
said that too. Best wedding ever. Yeah.
Because I was like, by the way, guys, like you made the top list. Like I'm like, don't tell my other weddings, but really, like this was fantastic.
Other weddings are jealous.
They should be.
That is so cool, man.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I love this job, and I love this industry, and I love what we do, and I'm so grateful to be, to have the experience I have, and to have the knowledge I have, and to be able to use that in a moment of need to help someone else have a great day. It kind of all came together. So, yeah, we'll keep cranking these out and keep doing some weddings, and hopefully you guys will keep listening, and thanks so much. We appreciate it, and
you'll see us with a tan. We're going to be coming back from
that's right.
Vegas.
We're going to take a week off, and should we do a very special podcast from Vegas?
We probably should, yeah. Right in front of the Bellagio fountain,
at the blackjack table. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, even better. Yeah.
Craps. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. This is the DJ Insider Podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Chris.
And we'll see you at your wedding.